Well, Elise Bolton has to solve that left lane that Jazriel Tan struggled so much with. And Georgia Drew has to keep carrying the corner hits. She has to move a little bit deeper. That may be troublesome for her.
And so Elise Bolton leaves a makeable spare 6-10.
She's made a ball change from match 1 to something a little bit shinier.
What does that do?
Well, it's to clear the front a little bit, save a little more energy for the back. She's seeing her ball not go through the pins. She's trying to get some energy saved there. It's a lower RG ball, so it should roll more in the mid lane. See if that combination works out.
And Georgia Drew's knocked off the favorite in this tournament, Jazriel Tan, with a solid 226 game, mistake-free, and took everything that Jazz opened with a triple, and yet Georgia Drew's kept her composure and didn't panic, and it was Tan who ended up making the mistake at the end.
Given the difficulty of the lane condition and her opponent, I'd have to say that's one of the better games she's probably ever bowled.
Well, better time. There's no better time than right now. Can she maintain it? Well, that's the bucket. Now, is there the possibility of any kind of an emotional letdown?
I would think surely coming in, she was very anxious coming in and kind of nervous. And as you watch her deliver here, how she keeps her back foot down, keeps her upper body in perfect position, but she's had to move a little bit left in the lane, and that's going to create some difficulty with carry, I think, in this match. Both players shot 220 in game 1, but I'd be surprised if either one of them are able to get to 220 this game.
But she has made the spares, and sometimes that's all you've got to do. Sometimes you hang around and wait for your opponent to make a mistake. And now she shifts over to that left lane. 3 out of 5 on that lane is a pretty darn good percentage.
It's been a very high percentage, and ironically, she's actually struggled more on the right lane. I was talking with Newman University and Georgia's coach, Billy Murphy, earlier, and talked about how great a spare shooter she is.
She hasn't missed any yet today. And won't have to worry about one there. That was beautiful. Crushed the 10 pin. And a little relief, I think, for Georgia. Yep, she's more than happy. She goes over to Billy Murphy.
It's perfect. Head's not in front of her knee. Once your head gets over your knee, you lose all your leverage and you lose your ability to be accurate on a consistent basis.
And that's high and trouble. 4-6-7 for Elise Bolton.
Well, as you watch this here, Elise gets the ball into the swing too early. Her shoulders come forward, and at that point she pulls the ball over her left toe. A disastrous 4-6-7 split. Oh.
Well, we'll see if Elise Bolton can recover from that open frame in this national championship singles match. And Elise really has established, again, just a freshman, as a really promising college career, and also maybe in the women's majors. And a great recovery.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear a lot more from her in her next 3 years in college and then well after that. It's a very promising junior career. I believe 3 times on Junior Team USA.
And Georgia Drew's, her first ball, not a good one, left a bucket, but came back with a solid strike in the second. Perfect shot. And Georgia Drew's got here, of course, with that, I guess you could say, upset win over Jazriel Tan, the top player in women's college bowling the past couple of years.
Well, I think you'd have to call it a huge upset. It's a 2-time player of the year. There's just not very many of those, and Georgia Drew is a good player, and will continue to be so. But her resume doesn't stack up quite that well. But adding this title will help a lot.
Yeah, she's listed being in this event and getting to this point as the highlight of her career.
certainly makes her more accomplished than her husband at this point.
Oh my, a shot at a shocker by a shocker. Break that up. That 5-pin will stay there, but that could have been a lot more difficult, obviously. But one of the things about Georgia that she is, and I like that she's helping grow the sport. She's into a youth program in Wichita. Youth director and a coach, kind of sets up a USA Bowling Little League program.
Yeah, it's Little League bowling, and it's basically a model set up like after all other sports around the country, right? 8-week season, you have practices during the week, you have a team, you have a coach, and rather than the 35-week week setup that you see in some typical youth programs, she's helping out coach and direct a program there in Wichita that's been very successful, where you run a short season like you would in basketball or football or baseball.
Well, Shay, tell you what, if she wants to teach you how to make a spare, I'd listen. She is so steady. Bolton down 23. Crossed over, and she's probably fortunate to just wind up with that.
Yeah, some 9s are much better than others. This one falls off her hand very fast. You can hear it right as she lets it go. Kind of double dribbles off inside a target. Only real chance was to cross over.
Well, the Youth Open this July in Indianapolis targets kids of all ages, starting as young as 5. Compete in team, doubles, and singles, and divisions for all averages. Thousands of dollars in scholarships are available. You can sign up at bowl.com/Youth Open. And Youth Open, all one word. All right, Elise Bolton just the one strike, which was on this left lane, which has been a little bit fussy at times. 2-4-5.
That's the spot right there. And really, every player that's tried to use a shinier ball and try and get it back from that spot down lane about right there has had a hard time. So I think her better play would be to switch back to the ball she used in the first match, which rolls sooner. Control that mid lane and get some angle back up into the pocket sooner. Take a chance with carry, but you have to hit the pocket.
Have to hit the pocket on that spare, too, which she did not. So 2 opens for Elise Bolton. One, understandable, was the split. That one could be very hard to swallow against a player who hasn't really made a big mistake yet in her semifinal match or in this match through her first 4 frames. Georgia Drews from Newman University.
No, so far she's bowled basically a perfect match. She's kept pressure on opponents. She keeps hitting the pocket. She makes her spares. And when she doesn't strike, she leaves things that are easy to make.
And gets a little lucky break there. That big 4 was hovering around. The 6-10 got kicked aside. Mom and Dad enjoy that.
Well, I almost managed to jinx her.
It's the announcer jinx.
Just a little bit inside. She's been playing right 17th, 18th board, and that was right around almost a 19. And she's not a big area player, so she's not counting on that extra room. She counts on hitting her target every time. Good break to leave the 4-7.
No problem. So consistent.
Excellent technique, too. I mean, she really deadens out and flattens out her roll at those spares. And top that with or add that to the fact she throws a plastic spare ball. It's just not going to go anywhere.
The Newman Jets from Wichita, Kansas. She's part of a team that won the Sin City Open in January. That was the first tournament that Newman had won in their 9-year history. All coached by Billy Murphy. Perfect pocket hit. And I tell you what, for Newman itself, and obviously for Georgia, this would be quite a feather in their cap to add an individual singles championship to their expanding resume. Right now, Georgia Drews is in charge. Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska with Chris Barnes. I'm Dave Lamont. There is your situation. That's Elise Bolton on the approach, and she is University of Nebraska transfer. Did not get a chance to bowl with her college team, but is representing Nebraska. That's why she's not in the team shirt. She can practice, but she can't play, and cannot have a coach here. That slips away, and she leaves the 2. And would a coach really help in this situation?
Well, I think so. A second set of eyes might pick up on some of the things that she's missing right now. And the fact that shiny ball is getting too far down the lane, making the 2-pin much too easy to leave. I think you would probably get her away from that, and might very well help her in this situation.
So smother that. She has just the 1 strike back in the 3rd frame. As Georgia Drews has 3 strikes and 3 spares. And again, just bowling pretty much a similar kind of match she had against Jazz Tan. Now you see what Elise has done in 3 events this season. But again, the transfer rules for her, having transferred from Sam Houston State, apply as if she were a basketball player or a running back or whatever. Got to sit out that year. A little high. Kicked out trouble on the left side, but leaves the 6-10.
Very fortunate here. Could have been another split, and at this point already down 35 pins. Something she could not have afforded.
Careful. All right, got that to hang on. And for a second I had fears of that slipping past the 6. Good sportsmanship between the 2. Georgia Drew's on the verge now. 37 pin lead, so if she stays clean, it's going to be very, very hard to beat her. Well, we'll find out well, we've already seen how good a spare shooter she is, but this is going to be a real test.
Well, this is the shot we haven't seen yet from her. This is the other. See her struggle a little bit, trying to hang on with her balance. And that was a little bit of a makeup shot. Last time she had 19, that time was almost 16. 2 shots we really have seen none of. We expect her to get right back on track here soon. She's going to go with her spare ball here. Risk of leaving the 7-pin.
Not today.
Nope.
Not today. She goes right at them. Dead straight.
Yeah, normally I'd like to see a little bit more angle when you leave the rail like that, but
and there you see where the maximum scores are, and that's if they all strike out, of course. So right now, everything going Georgia Drew's way in the 8th. Now, if she can survive that announcer jinx, she'll win the match.
On a 207 pace with Elise's max score at 200. Keeps doing what she's doing. She's in good shape. That's trouble the other way.
Whoa, and could get a message here. Nope. 3 will stand tall, but that one crossed over, couldn't get to Brooklyn, and again, the baby split kicked out. So she's had a few breaks in this match in addition to some good bowling.
Yeah, sometimes that's the biggest tell that you're doing the right thing, though, is when your bad shots don't split.
No surprise, that ball lumbers down the lane. It sounds like it weighs about 26 pounds instead of whatever it really does weigh. Her coach off to her right, as you can look at and exchanged a few gestures. Elise Bolton is trying to find an accelerator that she just keeps missing. Oh, if that 7 had stood, that would have been criminal.
That looked like a little bit of a move to the right and a little firmer, trying to stay right at it. Great shot. She has great balance at the foul line too. You see both of these girls really be able to post up shots, and that leads to their shot repetitions. Be a great shot maker, you have to be able to do that. Must strike situation.
Look out. 6-10.
Just a little too boxed in with that shiny ball. It won't hook back, and I can understand why you do it. You look for more ball reaction down lane to try and get some more of those corners out, but in this case, she lost control of the mid lane with it.
Uh-oh. Well, she was kind of close to that the last time she had that 6-10. That time, she may have sealed her own fate with that open frame.
Yeah, just 7 pins now. There it is.
9. And Georgia Drews has done it. She has joined the ranks of great bowlers like Shannon Pluhowski and Alicia Current, among others, including last year's champion Brittany Hamilton, as winners of the USBC Intercollegiate Women's Singles Championship. She will take home that beautiful trophy named after Marion Ladewig, the Hall of Famer. And because that's all she's done all day, make shot after shot after shot. Manage the hot television lights brilliantly with very, very steady bowling. Georgia Drews is your champion.
Jack Link's Beef
USBC Intercollegiate Singles Championships is brought to you by Ebonite, Bowl to Win. By Brunswick, bowling with a capital B. And by 900 Global, run 'em over. Well, in the history of Newman University bowling, this might be the biggest moment ever, a major celebration for Georgia Drews for winning the USBC Intercollegiate Singles Championship. There's the Marion Ladewig Trophy, and she has no interest in letting go of that right now as she joins us here in front of the victorious pair, 27 and 28. You were so incredibly steady. How were you able to manage that kind of steady play, no mistakes?
I have no idea. I honestly was like almost sickly nervous yesterday, even thinking about having this much attention, but I got out here and started throwing shots, and you know, having a good coach behind me it really restored my confidence a lot.
What does this mean, not just to you, but to the program?
I think it means a lot. Following in the footsteps of my coach, Bianca. She won this back in 2004, although it's the first time it's ever been on TV, so I think it gets a lot of good recognition for our program.
And just for you.
Yeah, I think my husband might be upset if I come home with a bigger trophy than him this weekend.
You have every right to talk trash to him. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Georgia Drews, the champion of the USBC Intercollegiate Singles, joining a very distinguished list of past champions. For Chris Barnes and